We've reached the end of the year, the time for everybody's favorite things. Top 10s, book tags, and pumpkin spice. Stick around after the slide for this end of the year book tag. Woo! Hello! Welcome to this end of the year book tag. Thank you already, Overbooked, for tagging me in this. I'm excited. Let's get into it. What are these questions? Number 1. Are there any books you started that you need to finish this year? Well, I'm the type of person that reads one book at a time, so I am currently reading Pet Sematary. Just started it, so I kinda need to finish this. Since I only read one book at a time, and I want to read a lot more books, this will be the one I need to finish. And spoiler alert, I am going to have this on the list again because I am going to answer everything as honestly as possible. And let's just jump into the next question. Do you have any autumn book to transition into the end of the year? And you guessed it, Pet Sematary feels like an autumn book to me, so I am going to stick with this one in this question too. I am having a lot of fun with this. I'm only 12 pages in, but I am already loving the character work. Stephen King has done a very good job making you feel the tension with all of the little misfortunes going on of him losing his keys, his daughter scraping her knee, his baby getting stung by a bee, and you could just feel the tension in Lewis, and King does that really well. This is my first King, and I am loving it already, so I definitely need to pick up some more King after this. And let's go into question 3. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? Oh, yeah. You might be able to see right here. I have the Stormlight Archive. I am, of course, waiting for Wind of Truth. I am very excited for Wind and Truth. Words of Radiance is still my favorite of the series. But if anything has the chance to top it, it would be the book that is an ending of sorts, because Brandon is really good with endings. So I think this definitely has a chance to maybe top Words of Radiance, and I am very excited. Let's go to the next question. What are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? Okay. This kind of ties in with the last one because 2 of these books are The Bands of Mourning and The Lost Metal. I am wanting to read these before I read Wind and Truth. I've read the other 2 in Mistborn series 2, and I am excited to get into these because the way the last one ended, I think there are some big things coming. So 2 out of the 3 are right here. And the third book, I will say, other than Wind and Truth, is going to be To Ride Hell's Chasm. I do not have a physical copy yet, so we'll pop it up right there. To Ride Hell's Chasm by Jenny Warts. I am super excited to try and get into this because there is a big read along going on for Jenny Warts' Wars of Light and Shadow, and I am wanting to try and jump into that, I think, because I think it'd be a blast to do that read along with everybody. And with this series, I think that's seems like everybody is a huge fan of. I want to start To Ride Hell's Chasm for the off chance that the writing is just not for me, but I have a feeling I'm going to love it. some of the things I've read are a little simpler in prose, like Brandon Sanderson, and uh, the start of Stephen King seems a little simpler, but I do enjoy some intricate prose as well, and I am looking forward to Ride Hell's Chasm to see how much I like Jenny Wirth's work, and then I'll be jumping into that Words of Light and Shadow, and I am excited. So, on to the next question. Is there a book that you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? So, as I've said already, Wind and Truth, I think, has a good chance, but that's not shocking. So, I think I have to bring this book up yet again. I think Pet Sematary has a chance because a lot of people have given high praise to this book. A lot of people said it's their favorite King book, and I I feel like I'm going to like it a lot just in the 12 pages I've read and from what I know about it. I think it's going to be definitely a contender. I feel like Wind and Truth might be my favorite. The only other thing, I think Oathbringer is my favorite otherwise, which I finished in January. So Pet Sematary, I think, has a good chance to fight to be my favorite. I think Wind and Truth will be my favorite, but I think Pet Sematary will easily be a new favorite of mine. And now we're into the last question. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? Well, I've already mentioned it. In January, the January's Wars of Light and Shadow read along is starting, and I will be jumping in on that if I like to ride Hell's Chasm, which I think I will. So, we'll be doing that. I also plan to read the other 4 books in A Song of Ice and Fire. I read A Game of Thrones not too long ago, and I loved it, and I really wanted to continue, but I really wanted to read Mistborn Era 2 before Wind and Truth, so that took me off of finishing Song of Ice and Fire, but I really, really, really want to. I will definitely be reading it in next year as well. I also have all of the secret projects to still get into. I have the new one ordered as well. I also want to get into The Bloodstones by Tori Tekken. I hear great things about this, and I want to start reading some indie self-pub. And I also really want to get into Jade City and the whole rest of the series back there. And I also really want to start The Way of Adan and the Adan trilogy. And already Overbooked over there mentioned wanting to start it next year too, so maybe there will be a buddy read there. But there's also the Broken Binding version coming out, and I am very tempted to buy that. I don't know if I will buy both versions, so I might have to wait for the Broken Binding version, which could be a while. We'll see. I really want to start that as well, but as you can see, there's a lot of things I want to get into, so a lot of that will be most of my plans for next year. And that's it. That is my end of the year book tag. Hope you enjoyed it, and go ahead and jump into this tag if you are not tagged and try and have some fun. It's really cool to have conversations, see what everybody else is reading, what their plans are and everything, and I'd love to see it. in the comments, like the video if you haven't, and you did like the video, and subscribe if you want, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.